Morning air still holding dreams, espresso cooling by the rail, your sandal prints in dusty stone, another slow Mediterranean tale. Neighbors wave but speak in eyes, terracotta laughter drifting wide, linen shirts and lemon rinds and not a single clock in sight. You said let's never name the days, and I agreed, just smiled your way. The sun on the steps, the salt in your hair, I never knew silence could feel like a prayer. Time didn't stop, it just lay down to rest, you and me and the breeze at our best. Olive oil and lazy heat, bread still warm between our knees. I asked if love could be the still, you answered with a bite and a breeze. No plans, no need to understand, just you, just now, in my open hand. The sun on the steps, the curve of your laugh, we sat through the morning, watched it drift past. Time didn't pause, but it softened its chest and leaned on the moment like it needed to rest. And oh, we never said. The sun on the steps, your voice in my skin, I'd give up the future to go back again. Not to change it, not to impress, just to sit there once more and let it all press. Shadows move like vines across the floor, and I don't know what I'm waiting for. The fan turns slowly, thoughts drift wide, a postcard life I never tried. There's soup on the stove, but I forgot the time. Lemons ripen just for a rhyme, a glass half full of something sweet, and dust that gathers on my feet. Everything is slow by design. I gave the hours back to the vine. In this terracotta reverie, halls, like sunlight stuck on stucco walls. You said goodbye like brushing past, but left your shadow where it lasts. So I write your name in steam and wine, and forget it slowly over time. In this terracotta reverie, I hold the silence tenderly, somewhere between regret and blue. I let it all dissolve in you. Stayed, but never left, like lavender beneath my breath. In this terracotta reverie, where time forgets its memory, I learned to sit and let it through, and sometimes dream. Postcard, I never reply. Too many feelings, not enough sky. You wrote about donkeys and sea blue stairs, and how the sunsets made you stare. You said your new friend plays guitar. You're learning how to walk that far. I held the card like a fragile shell, each word washed in a different swell. Aegean postcards full of light. Your stories float like kites at night. I read them slow, I read them twice, then filed your joy beside my eyes. I never told you I bought a flight and canceled it that very night. I couldn't stand to chase the breeze, knowing it wouldn't land with ease. So I stayed with my tea and your pen's blue ink, and let the silence make me think. Aegean postcards, sweet and kind, little souvenirs you left behind. I never held your hand in Greece, but you held mine in every piece. Maybe you don't even miss me back, but I keep every card in a leather stack. Aegean postcards sent its size. I love your joy even when it's not mine. So I light a candle, not a plan on, and send you peace from where I am. woke up to windows wide with wind, the scent of fennel creeping in. The market's closed, the plates are dry, your jacket's hung where goodbyes lie. Our boiled beans you used to love, the ones that always stayed half done. I named each spice you taught me well, but they don't speak the way you spell. Fennel dreams and rosemary light, I hold our days like herbs at night. Dry and crackling, still they smell of stories we forgot to tell. The cat still sleeps inside your chair, the record skips, but I don't care. You always said the mess was part of what made this a beating heart. So I sit barefoot on the tile, missing you with every mile. Fennel dreams and basil rain, I loved you through the window pane. You left in fall but stayed in spring in every little seasoning. Simmering tune that fills the kitchen every noon. Fennel dreams and rosemary light, still holding love, still holding tight. You're in the mix, not on the shelf, still stirring in myself. Morning breeze through olive trees, you in socks and nothing else. He steam rising cardigan sleeves, the silence warmer than well. We spread out grapes on painted plates, sleepers round the edge like lace. Hummed a tune you couldn't name and spun a story just from taste. You said you don't need more than this, then bit into a fig like a kiss. Capers and cardigans, you and me logging loud beneath the tree. A little salt, a little sun, nothing more to rest upon. You wrapped your arms around my neck. We talked of time like it was rain.
Left the dishes played with crumbs. The world outside forgot to come.
You said let's age like olives do, sharp at first then warm and true. Capers and cardigans, soft and slow, and loving things that grow. We dance without a single plan, for warm hands and no demand now. Whoa, whoa. I think of you in morning thread, still folding napkins in my head. Capers and cardigans, worn but fine, a little stretch across the spine. If I could paint what peace would mean, it'd look like you. In
tangerine. Oh,
Name's still only the ember. Sunlight spilled across the note, ink a little blurred by tears. I hadn't touched it in 2 years. You always wrote with too much space, as if your silence needed place. And I would trace the curl of G's as if they held some memory. I sat beside the coffee from alone, alone but never quite alone. Seaside letters, soft and torn, whispers on a paper worn. I kept them all, I still believe. Some things you write just never leave. There was one from Santorini dusk. You wrote it on a ferry bus. You said the sea felt like regret, and I still taste that line you said. The pages held a salt I knew, like skin that missed a second view. You peeled the skin with calloused hands, dropped a pin and let it land. Apricot light on freckled skin, the start of silence tucked within. We didn't speak for 30 days, but built our thoughts in secret ways. Throw folded notes in orange peel, we proved our hearts could still reveal. One look across the courtyard space told stories lips could never trace. Apricots in silence, hand in hand, moments made of grain and sand. We never needed songs to sing, just fruit and shade in early spring. Kiss me once without a sound, and every bell stops spinning round. The quiet bloom like jasmine leaf, a soft and sacred kind of grief. And though the world resumed its pace, we stayed inside that muted space. Apricots in silence, hush and sun. Time paused when our love begun. Know when I eat them late July, I taste that pause beneath the sky. We said more with what we spared than any words we ever dared. Apricots in silence, still in bloom, filling all my empty rooms. I whisper back into that shade and thank the quiet that we made.
Style prompt: a mellow Mediterranean chill track with nylon string guitar. In warmer bright bass, picture a capybara dozing in a hammock under an apricot tree. Late summer sun
fading behind them. You folded memories into shape, edges crease like silent fate. A name, a date, a ripple past, the current holding all at last. We sat beneath the lemon tree, watching pages drift to sea, each one filled with childish grace, floating softly from this place. I wanted more but held too tight, so paper sailed into the night. Paper boat days, where did you go? Carried off in currents flow. We built a fleet of wishes wide and watched them leave.
Sometimes I find one in a dream. We think that's smudged along the stream. You wrote, I'll stay until I drift. And even now, that line still lives. A child's hope in folded lines, still more true than grand designs. Paper boat days, not made to last, but still they carry all our past. I set them free and watched you go, but some things float and never slow. The things we fold, the things we save, flow quietly into the brave. Paper boat days, still afloat, ghosts that ride on dreams we wrote. I see you when the rivers part, still folded soft inside my heart. City humming lavender tea, the sky above a velvet sea. You mapped out stars with fingertips, a soft equation on my lips. We traced the constellations slow and let our midnight shoulders glow. A notebook open on the tiles, we name new planets with our smiles. I never knew the moon could teach until you said it's out of reach. Balcony, astronomy, glass in hand, making sense of where we stand. You told me stars don't really fall, they only shift to change it all. You pointed east, I leaned in close, named galaxies for past we chose. Each comet sparked a memory line across the dark, your hand in mine. And just before the silence broke, you whispered dreams beneath your cloak. Balcony, astronomy, soft and slow. We orbit truths we'll never know. And in the dark you turn to me, like stars turn slowly out to sea. Not everything needs gravity, you said, and I believed you quietly. Ooh. and drifted into Milky Way.
Like a herb in bloom, slow and fragrant filled the room. You stirred the soup and swayed your hips, and grinned with parsley on your lips. We danced between the olive jars, with shadows shaped like old guitars. Your laughter ricocheted like spice, a midnight meal without a price. You whispered, don't forget this tune, underneath the oregano moon. Oregano moon and dancing feet, every moment bold and sweet. We turned the kitchen to a stage and cooked our love through every age. Fed me words with rosemary, said love is more when it's carefree. We wrote our names in feta dust, and kissed like time was built on trust. A table set for two and soon we dined beneath oregano moon. Oregano moon, our secret sky, past the dreams that never die. With every simmer, stir and bite, we danced our joy into the night. The scent of basil in the air still brings me back to dancing there.
Across the line, the sea below a borrowed sign. We barely spoke, just breathed and swayed, while shadows played across the jade. You held your book with lazy hands, the wind composed its own command. All our thoughts like laundry pins fluttered truths we'd stored within. I knew you'd never really leave. You were the salt within my sea. what slipped away. We let the ocean learn to stay. You trace the hem of yesterday, said some regrets don't need to stay. The cloth's still wet with what we meant, hung between breeze and accident. If fabric holds what hearts conceal, then maybe sun can help us heal. Linen tide, breezy white, draped across our quiet night. You left your scent, I left a line. We folded love and let it dry. Some stories end just to begin, like linen caught on summer wind.